Welcome back to the Titanium Hangar. This is Mike. Today I want to talk to you about Wave 2 of JoyToy Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 3.75-inch scale figures, and I've taken a look at all the turtles already. So Wave 1 was the good guys, Wave 2 is the bad guys, and I gotta say I think they're doing some pretty good work. These figures look really good. There's two different options for foot soldiers, the Foot Clan A and B, and one of these figures looks extremely classic and retro. You'll have to watch the video to figure that one out, but I did get these at Gundamit.com. I'm going to have a link down below, 5 links down below. But let me know what you guys think about this as we go through this. I'm going to take a look at every accessory, everything going on with this toy line, and I'm excited to see the bad guys coming up. Here they are in the package, and it seemed like we got more of these stickers for Show Z. Got some Transformers stickers with these, but it is Gundam, by the way. There is the package for Foot Clan A, quite reflective there. And then this one's Foot Clan B. And then we have the Shredder. And the classic pair, the not so dynamic duo, Rocksteady and Bebop. Got to keep the name straight. All right, so with this, I'm going to go one at a time and then build up to, I guess, the climax of all of them together in one scene. But this one here is the Foot Clan A, and he looks pretty cool. Real quick look at the figure here. The head. Yeah, it looks like what you'd expect with the Foot Clan. And he's got this sheath part over him. He does look pretty good overall. Remember, it is a stylized take on them, and he's got a loose belt, so this stuff here is all loose. It's not molded in. And then I'm wondering, yeah, these are separate pieces, but I think they're glued on. And the same, I think that's the same too. Yep. So these are rubbery armor parts, armor bits, and then there's even straps on the back for that. These pieces plug in, I believe. This one keeps falling out though, so whatever that is. Is it an ammo pouch, or is it whatever that is? This is obviously a grenade. I bet it, yep, it tabs in. You could probably pull it off, throw a grenade, or have him holding a grenade. And then these here, I don't know if this, they don't come off. That's permanently affixed. That little knife he's got on his wrist there. So pretty cool stuff. Real quick on the articulation, the head side to side, up and down, ball joint, shoulders. Nice and tight. The bicep swivel. Is it double jointed? It's not double jointed. He does have the torso rock kind of thing, and the waist rocks, and it says it's got the foot right there. That's kind of cool. Go almost to the 90 to the front. Oh, not much to the back, not much to the side. This does hinder it a bit. Thigh swivel. The knee is double jointed, and you can get quite here up and down on the ankle. A little bit of side to side, but you can get quite a bit of range out of the posing with this guy, because he's got, for a 3.75 inch, quite a bit. So I kind of like how they've done it, because it still looks really good as a figure, even though I will point out, of course, they're stylized, but it does look real good, and it's got a lot of articulation with it, so it really does work really well. Quickly getting into accessories. So I shouldn't have to go over articulation with the rest of them. So they'll fit in his hand, and he is shipped with gun holding hands, which I love. I guess they listened to my first video, and I did not like swapping hands a lot on these guys, and I just want gun holding hands. I think everybody wants weapon and accessory holding hands. So, all right, so this first accessory is the little hand blaster. Looks pretty good. Looks really good. And then we've got like a, well, I don't even know what you call this. It's a sound blaster. Yeah, it's kind of like a rifle. Then we have this drill, so he can do some drilling. And then we have this gun here. So I don't know which ones I'm gonna put one of each in there. Then he's got this knife, which I would like a place to sheath it. It feels like you should be able to put it somewhere. I mean, he's got so much going on. Let's see if we can just slide it in here, because he's got so much. See, that piece falls off. like real easy. I'm not sure why. And then that grenade just hasn't moved at all. So yeah, we can kind of slide that in there. It's not supposed to go in there, but that's where I'm going to display mine. So what's it matter? And he's got this cool little communicator, so wacky, and it's painted really well. This kind of stuff we didn't get with the vintage line. But yeah, that's really cool. Let's see. Also, he's got tiny throwing stars. I'm afraid of losing them. Tiny little throwing stars. And then he's got different hands. So more of an open but not holding anything, a fist. And then another left trigger. And then we've got a plunger. I'm sure there's story behind the plunger. Here's the display piece, which looks different than the other ones. We'll bring that in. Once we form all this, we'll bring the other one in. Side-by-side comparison to the vintage one. And so what a lot of people don't know, a lot of you guys that collect Turtles heavy, guess what? I just got him not too long ago. And I think I got him for like 15 bucks. So people troop build the heck out of Foot Troopers. So it's one of the more expensive vintage figures. I mean, one of the more expensive, extremely common expensive figures, because people want 30 of them to troop build, and people really aren't troop building Leonardo's. Now we're going to get into B. So this one is the Foot Clan B, and it's basically the same figure, except he has different gauntlets here. So instead of the spike knife, he's got whatever's going on there with those 3 dots. And I think the head's a little different. In this one's got swords instead of guns. So that's the real difference between A and B, and not much else different. I think all this armor's the same, the belt's the same, the accessories the same. This hasn't fallen off just yet, so it's kind of good there. So what the difference is accessories. Let's look at the accessories. We get this almost like a trident kind of thing. I'm sure there's a specific name for it. There's quite a bit of paint apps and weathering and stuff going on to it. Same thing going on here with this. It appears to be a broken sword. So he's got 2 swords, and he's got a broken sword, and then he's got these here. So that's kind of cool. And then you've got what appears to be like a thick sword. It looks like a pirate sword a little bit, but looks pretty cool. It's got brown handle, gold accents, and the silver. And then we have this sword right here, which appears to be the same sword as this, except this is broken. So you're fighting with that sword, and then this one breaks. Kind of an interesting item. But then the one thing that I was curious about when I opened the first one is, why don't we have the whatever this weapon is that the original vintage one comes with? And it takes the original vintage one to the next level. So that's kind of cool. So what I'm going to do is just kind of drape it over his shoulder or something. I've got to figure something out about that. And then maybe I can drape it over his shoulder, something like this. And it's all just going to be for display, not for play anyway. But there's Foot Clan B. All the same other hands and stuff. Oh, it's over here. We've got the same. We've got Ninja Stars, the communicator, and all the same hands. Next up we have SHREEDER, and I gotta say they really went all out on this guy. He looks really good with all of his silver and all these little spiky pieces. That's what you expect from SHREEDER, and his SHREEDER helmet, his armor right here, armor right there. The belt buckle looking thing's a little to the side with the ribbon that comes out of it. That's actually plastic though, it's not cloth. And then he's got this silver spiky stuff down here. He has a rubber cape, which is looking like it's got some movement to it. Looks really good. I mean, they did a pretty good job of this guy, I have to admit. Now, accessory wise, he does come with whatever this thing is, which looks cool. And I didn't show really an articulation, but they're ball jointed hands. And I don't like changing the hands because it's a challenge. It was a challenge for me changing the hands when I was doing the turtles. These might be a little better, but since the hands they come with are exactly what I wanted, I'm leaving it on there. So I'm good with all of that. But the other accessories, since I am talking about hands, we do have this hand you could put on. Now this hand here has those spikes. So if you want that on there, you can put that on there. But they won't, with the spikes, you can't hold a weapon. It has to just be the spikes. Or I'd have the spikes on if they were open hand, and I could still have a weapon. Spikes and a weapon. You have this long sword, and you have a short sword. Which I probably will display with the swords. I'll probably take that out of his hand and just do swords. Then you have these, it's a bit of trickery. We have these, and they're just handles that plug into the hilt. You can't actually put the swords in the hilts. But this is if you're not displaying them with swords, then you can just plug these in. If your swords are like put in a baggie somewhere or something, and he's just maybe got his spike hand in, then you have a spike hand in, and it can look like his swords are sheathed. Even though the swords don't sheath. I would have rather the swords sheath. But hey, it's a cheat. They did it. It's okay. You can also double these as broken swords. The swords broke off. I mean, that's something else you could do. Then you have this hand, and I'm going to try to put a star in it. I think they all have star holding hands. I just misunderstood. I thought this was another trigger, an extra trigger finger hand. No, it's a star holding hand. Love that. That is awesome. Of course, I don't love changing the hands out. Here he is next to SHREEDER, and I like this pose better than that pose. I never liked the pose that they forced you to have your SHREEDER in back in the day. I would have liked a much better pose, or just more of a normal looking SHREEDER than that as a kid. But anyway, that's what the classic SHREEDER looks like. This is what the JoyToy looks like. Alright, getting into Bebop, he is a more classic looking figure overall. He does look really good. Like, if they were going to do a retro series, they wouldn't need to do a retro one of him because he looks very retro. Very, very cool. He does have, I've got his guitar on him. I'm going, I'm leaving that in because it's the downside to having the ball joints for the articulation is that if you hyper extend it, like I was trying to do to show it, then the ball joints can pop out. That just is a thing. It is what it is. He's got the handcuffs for his belt there, or looks like handcuffs. Anyway, it's kind of chain there. Here's on the back, it says Turtle Hunter. And this is, and this whole jacket is an overlay. It's cool. They went the mile with that thing. Pretty nice. Looks like he's got a knee brace on right here. Looks like the knee brace moves as the knee moves, which is cool. He has toe tilt, which I didn't notice on any of the other figures. Maybe, now that I'm looking at it, maybe SHREEDER has it, so I'll have to go back and look at that. But probably because his foot's so big, they're able to engineer that in. Wonder if his mouth opens. Would be cool. It is opening and closing. His mouth does open. Wow. That is awesome. I mean, they've done a good job with this guy, and he looks pretty darn classic. So, you know, I mean, you know me, and I like the classic stuff, and it looks really impressive. I'm very impressed so far from what I've seen with the Bebop. Bebop and scatting all over this thing. So here's his guitar. Now, I didn't change out his hands. These are just normal hands, because I'm not going to have him with his guitar. I still am not really very comfortable with changing the hands out on these guys, but I'll probably display him with this gun. It's got some red paint on that side there, too. And then this trash can lid. It's a classic. He has this drill. They love the drills. I mean, they really do. And then a pipe to bash someone in the head with. Bash someone in the head with a pipe. No, preferably a turtle, right? Okay, now we've got... Oh, now PETA's going to be after me. This is spikes. It's like brass knuckles, but brass knuckle spikes. 2 hands of that. He's got the rock on. Rock on. That's rock on, not Illuminati, just so you know. This is his guitar strumming hand. I'm not going to put it on and use it, but this is his guitar. He's playing the chords at the top there, hand, and then this is like another holding hand. Anyway, cool stuff for this guy. They've done a really good job with him. And then here's, of course, his stand, which I haven't talked much about stand. We're going to do that at the end. but you can do a pose where, you know, he's got one leg up higher because you have, and then you can put the other one there. It is actually a pretty decent stand. All right, lastly, we've got Rocksteady, and they've done a pretty good job with him. Not as classic as, say, the Bebop, so Bebop's still kind of my favorite out of this, but I still like him. They've done some cool stuff I didn't really even think about. First of all, he's got this, it's a boombox, and there's a little retractable handle so that he can hold it. So it's just like, you don't have to worry about him holding it, but he has the same look that he's holding it. He's just holding his boombox, which is awesome. You know, he can hold it by the handle and just walk around with it, but, you know, boombox on the shoulder in the 80s was all the rage. Then he has this gun right here, which looks pretty cool, but these straps are independently loose. The rest of the t-shirt's molded in. His belt is a loose strap on there. Actually, no, that's his whole pelvis is just connected. And does he have toe tilt too? Yep, because his big old foot, he's got the toe tilt. I thought it was cool because you can pull this. You can pull this off. The dynamite. It just pops off, which stuff like that is really cool. And then the knife, it was packed separate, but it sheathes into here. It's the signature knife that he comes with. It's got some silver on it instead of just all one color. I think it's like burgundy, like dark blue for the vintage one or something like that. Either dark blue or black. Here is his, let's see if any crazy stuff. The goggles come down so he has night vision. Or maybe it's x-ray vision, he sees through walls. No, it's night vision or something like that. And then you can put them back up. He's got the giant horn. Let's see, does his mouth open like the other one? Because the other one's mouth open. Yep, mouth opens. Check it out. They've done a lot with this. More than I expected. I haven't watched any reviews of these either, so all this is just like surprises I stumble across as I mess with it. Then there's a grenade there that doesn't detach, or ammo and stuff that's on there. So pretty cool, interesting stuff. I'm not going to, I don't know, I was thinking I was going to display them. Should I have him holding this? Should I just leave this as an accessory to sit in the background, and then he holds his shield? Again, I'm not into swapping the hands out so much. And I'm glad they listened to me. All right, a couple more accessories. He's got this green thing. I don't know what it is. I thought it was a spray paint can, but it's not. It looks like it might just be like a bombshell or something. And then we've got another trigger hand for the other side if you want to make him a lefty. And then just another holding hand for the right hand. His stand, and I haven't really been showing these. I showed a few of them, but these, they correspond with, you can put them on top of your, like the sewer hatch when you make the entire stand, which I guess we're going to do here in a bit. And finally, comparison, I'm going to do both these at the same time. One thing that's impressive is that they're about as tall as their vintage counterparts. Even though they're 3.75 inch line, they're taller because they can stand up. It's a miracle. They can stand up straight. If only they could have done that in the vintage era. They are supposed to be bigger characters, beefier characters, but you can kind of see the difference between them and vintage. Now for the stand, the big to-do. If you clip them together like this, they clip together. They're all exactly the same, so it's like a continuing puzzle. The last piece you need to kind of like clip in, well, something like that. So you have the super stand. Then you can get this bad boy out, which they each come with their own separate stand. The piece of the super stand is separate stand. This actually is a stand that works. And it would just go right here in the center. The sewer cap, if you want to, or not. Either way. Just kind of how I looked at it. And so they all have their own stand. Also, if you want to do this, something along those lines. But we have 1, 2, 3 foot pegs for each one. So that's 12 foot pegs. And we can put them all on here at once. It's a little cramped, and I would prefer to have them separately displayed. But I mean, it's a thing you can do if you wanted to. It is definitely an option that's out there. If you want to display it like this, you certainly can. No one's stopping you. Mine look better with Rocksteady and Bebop in the back because they're so bulky. They kind of cover everyone else up. But they all have some bulk to them too. Still, let's put that stand side by side with the turtle one. I mean, this is how I display the turtle stand with only one turtle on it. And I think that's how it's anticipated, even though they give you the options for all these different foot pegs. But they pretty much expect you're just going to have one figure on there. Yeah, cool stuff. Alright, so this is my look at the JoyToy Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 3.75-inch figure scale TMNT Wave 2. I think they're pretty cool. I want to say that I would prefer the classic looks. That's the way I am. But they're stylized, but not overly stylized. And one of which is the Bebop, is very, very classic looking. So I think they've done great with kind of finding that nice mix to where it's going to attract original turtle collectors, of course, and then, of course, other people that want something just a little bit different. They don't want the same thing they have 9 of the same exact look. So it's kind of cool, and they don't take up nearly as much space as a NECA display. I wonder how much they're going to deck out. How far are they going to go? How many characters they're going to make? But you can get this on Gundam.com. I'll have a link down below for each and every one of these if you're interested in buying these. TH in the Support Your Reviewer helps out the channel so I can review stuff like this that I normally wouldn't try to review. But let me know what you think about these in the comments below. Like, subscribe. Try to hang out.
Bebop, Rocksteady. The turtles are heading this way. Find them and destroy them.
Oh, did I hurt yous? This'll make it better.
We don't like rats in our fair city. Maybe I should just wring your stinking neck.
Show him some moves, Donatello!
I know that fighting style. It is the foot technique. Could it be Hamato Yoshi still lives?